Good morning, Mr. Aurora, Secretary Generals, debate teams, and judges. I am pleased to welcome you all to the GMIS Samara Middle and Senior English Debate event of 2021. Before we begin, I would like to explain what debating is and how it works. So debate is a process that involves formal discourse on a particular topic. In a debate, arguments are put forward for often opposing viewpoints. Debates have historically occurred in public meetings, academic institutions, debate halls, coffee houses, competitions, and legislative assemblies. It is a formal type of discussion and often includes a moderator along with an audience. I would like to call the Secretary General to the front to officially start the debate.
A very good morning, everyone. Let me start by welcoming tomorrow's leaders to today's United Nations debate. It's such a pleasure to see such an enthusiastic groups of students engaged in article issues. The topic for the debate today is, should social media be banned in school? So to begin with, it is very obvious that social media and technology are integral parts of daily life. Using social media gives you the chance to communicate and engage with your community. You actually have a huge opportunity to influence for good, and that has to be a key benefit of social media in school. But on the flip side, social media is also an outlet for all of their stresses and frustrations. Many say that schools should not allow social media during school hours due to the fact of bullying, self-esteem, and distraction. Banning social media or even phones from schools would allow students to feel safe for a period of time and could potentially do a lot for some situations. Now, I declare the forum open for debate and invite teams to put forward their point on this very interesting topic.
To all things, this is to inform you that you will given 5 minutes time for a presentation, followed by question and answer for 2 minutes. Team 1A, please start the presentation. Good morning, children. Smart. Today, my teammates and I will be discussing on. Good morning, children. Smart. Today, my teammates and I will be discussing on why social media should be banned in school. Firstly, I would like to ask who doesn't use social media here, right? Everyone is using social media from the range of Gmail to YouTube. As a teenage student myself, I like to use social media, and as much as I like to use them, there are some times where I should stop using them, such as school, as an example, as it can potentially ruin future careers and develops cyberbullying. So social media actually can help teenage these years that they on how they cope and people on the internet. And bad people on the internet tends to have bad intentions in people for social media to let other people down. Thank you.
The social networking. Social networking, by all accounts, should make your career search easy, as one is able to connect with your current employer, employee, or recruiter instantly. But what happens if you use social media in all the wrong way? What happens if you use social media to run for your friends to see, but your current or prospective employer sees it instead? You know, your whole digital presence, or really your whole digital footprint, is no longer just an extension of your resume. It is as important as your resume, said Alpine Patrick Lilly in the New York Times. He also continues that social media use is now a standard of a hiring process, and there's a little chance of going back. In fact, 96% of organizations and companies use social media to inspect their candidates, which also, according to the 2016 Nation Survey, which also mentioned that 55% of recruiters had to reconsider their candidates based on their social media profile. Their biggest turnoffs: illegal drug reference, profanity, sexual posts, gun, alcohol consumption, poor spelling of grammar, and thank you.
Another reason why recruiters have had to reconsider future candidates is due to cyberbullying. As according to Samir Hinduja and Justin Patchen, it is a willful and repeated harm inflicted through computers, cell phones, and other electronic devices. Bullying in schools is already an issue to be tackled. But by having social media, cyberbullying can increase mental health issues and make students not want to attend any classes. Banning social media can create a safe space for students for some period of time. Not only can cyberbullying cause problems to the victims, the bullies can also suffer because one, background checks for future job interviews and also schools, but secondly, in Indonesia, any type of bullying is categorized as a crime, as stated in the Indonesian Criminal Code Act or KUHP and the Information and Electronic Transactions Act of the Indonesian Republic, Article 11, stated in 2008. A case that has caused a lot of pain is one of Ryan Halligan, who at only 13 years of age took his own life due to online harassment. He was bullied at school for his physical and academic struggles, but was also cyberbullied at home. And the sheer obliteration of trust has led him to take his own life. But the positive side of this case is that 7 months after he died, the Vermont Bully Prevention Law Act of 117 in the US was passed. This story should be important to this day because it shows the impact of social media and how it can be used as a lesson for the youth today. Thank you.
Team B, do you have any question? After all the examples and points you made, why would people misuse social media? Social media is a powerful tool, can be used to help people, and can be used for good.
Yes, I agree with your statement there, but social media can be misused with the lack of education that teachers or parents have, given to the children. So, like, if you don't understand the consequences of using social media, then you can post things like, which can lead to like talking to people, strangers on the internet, or which can lead to stalking, or you can cyberbully people. And I just think that adults should be able to educate their children on how to use social media properly if we want to carry on in using social media in schools.
Team 1B, please start your presentation now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being present today. For this debate is, should social media be banned in schools? Social media is everywhere nowadays, on many platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and with billions of people using social media, it is a great place to communicate and exchange ideas with people from all around the globe, sharing their own personal experience, opinions, and knowledge. There are many educational accounts and channels providing information to people around the world online for free. Social media are of great help to students, with the internet being so vast. Answers and information are accessible to everyone on the platform, which helps students with learning and assignment grading. Educational videos are all around social media, and it's great to encourage curiosity and learning of children and teenagers, providing plenty of solid information in a fun way. Interaction is one of the main purposes of social media and can be used to contact other students and teachers in various ways, such as Instagram, messengers, and others. Should the student have any troubles, they will be able to text and call their teachers or fellow peers. We all know social media has become a big part of our lives over the course of this pandemic, and whether we realize it or not, it has also become an important one. We've adapted to this situation through our devices, doing everything online. So why can't schools do it too? Why should schools ban powerful when it can be used to help students with learning greatly? I believe social media can have a positive impact in classrooms. Thank you.
Social media is everywhere, and I know because the We Are Social website says that 3.8 billion people use it every day. The first reason and most positive reason I think is that social media can be used as a learning tool. As students today, social media can help learn because mostly we learn from our teachers, as you know. But there's also another way to learn, such as, for example, if you miss a class, by missing a class, you won't be able to learn what happened. Perhaps social media can help you because if you missed that exact class in which you are going to study for in the exam, you will most likely not get good grades. No grades, no diploma. Second part will be the part where we talk about projects. In schools, many people use social media as a searching tool because social media has almost everything in it. Such as, for example, when you're doing yourself a project, right? And then you have to find more information since most essay will relate on one topic and that one topic. So, why not use social media? Because if you use social media, you will be able to find it much more easier. And there's actually a website called McGraw-Hill which will help offline students find playlists for learning and many videos just for studying what they missed. For example, math. And two, when they say cyberbullying, I know this is a problem, but there is a simple solution to it. It's called Family Link. I have this application at my home installed for me by my parents. It's called Family Link. So not only does Family Link allow the parents and teachers to keep an eye on their students, but will tell how long they play, what app they use, and how long we're allowed to play it. They can keep an eye, even if they're out of country, at home, or maybe even them. Even though they can't see, their parents can see, Family Link will. Because literally 1,107,000 people use Family Link. And I think people should start using it too, to keep an eye on their students. Why not? Because if you ban social media from school, you will be banning something that will be a helping hand, especially since it will help in many projects in schools.
According to
Jimmy, your time is up. Please sum up in 2 minutes.
According to Australian parenting website, social media is a big part of many young people's social and creative lives. Children and teenagers use social media to have fun, make and maintain relationships, and develop their opportunities at work or at school. Social media can connect children and teenagers to online global communities based on their interests and educational purposes. On October 4, 2021, there has been a controversial problem in which Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook servers were down for 10 hours. And what's surprising is that the owner, Mark Zuckerberg, has lost $5.9 billion in just 10 hours. We do believe that just by knowing this case, we all understand how social media create a lot of impact on every society and how big, how huge are the amount of social media users. In this era, I our team believe that we all as teenagers know how to determine which one is good and which one is bad. And this is important in using social media. If we all use it in a good way, as students, we can find information related to university, college, even general information, and also about our lesson. And this is important in order for us to prepare for our future. Social media is very important. It helps us to do things easier in many aspects. Teaching and learning can also be better because social media provides tools and also features that makes fun experience for us as students and teachers also. And technologies and social media are starting to be everywhere. And those improvements are crazy, as we know. And the numbers of people using social media and technologies are increasing highly. So I do believe that we all need to adapt in this era full of amazing and sophisticated technologies and also social media. And social media will absolutely find ways. Thank you.
Team A, do you have any question?
So the question that we have prepared for you is, as you talked about earlier, the family link. Besides that, is there any other way to ensure that your children or the students at school are using it properly and safely?
Most likely, yes. Perhaps there's another app that Google might be making because, as you know, Google, Instagram, and Facebook is a very wide thing. Most likely, someone's making it right now. So for the time being, no. But in the future, I am determined that I think yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Team 1. Now I call Team 2 for the presentation.
Team 2A, please start your presentation now.
Good morning, respected chairmen, teachers, and fellow students. Today, my teammates and I are going to be talking about why social media should be banned. Now, almost everyone uses social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or any other social media. Consumption of social media within teens has increased over time, especially because smartphones and social media are becoming more normalized. According to Jeff Nelson from Common Sense Education, 70% of teens report using social media more than once a day. In 2012, this number was only 34%. And according to PEW Research Center, 95% of teens aged 13 to 17 have a smartphone or access to one. Now, these numbers are very high. And one way to reduce these numbers is to ban social media during school. Now, school is a place to learn, and it can be the place to learn and take time off social media, because social media can be very toxic. Banning social media in school will teach students discipline, therefore making them responsible young adults when they grow out on their own individual lives. Another positive thing from banning social media in school is that it will teach students time management. Classes need efficiency, especially because our classes are now only 40 minutes. A text being answered by one's phone can lead to them scrolling on social media endlessly, and it is very time consuming. This lack of balance can lead to them to have lack of time management, self-control, and poor academic standing. A psychology instructor at SATCC said that social media is a great way to escape, but the difficult thing is putting it down when you want to get to work. Seeing that these students will have a hard time during class is not something that we want to teach students during class. We should be teaching them the things to prepare them for the future.
This is the result of students using social media in school. As you can see here in the picture, the students don't pay attention in class but instead playing on their phones or looking at social media. To
This can result for the student to have bad grades, and it's hard for them to focus on their classes. The goal of not using social media in school is to improve their time management. Improving time management can give good effects, like reducing distractions. Students will not lose interest on their studies, and it can improve their concentrations. The article was taken from newsandnews.com, and it was written by Clement James. Thank you.
Managing to stay away from social media could improve our time management skills, which are one of the perks of being responsible and staying away from social media, like what Speaker 1 and 2 had said. It is tough indeed to just put your phone away or not open social media that could distract you. Rebecca Radis, in 2014, wrote an article, "There are many ways to manage your time management skills and being responsible to your own social media usage by using an application." First one is called Pomodoro Timer, that sets your boundaries on time limits, and Rescue Time, which tracks your usage on certain apps. We all know that social media can be taken away from us. Like there's a statistic in 2021 that shows that people are getting too caught up with social media they can't even get off of their phones. Lots of people are suffering from this addiction, scrolling through their phones and then go 4 hours of screen time. Now what if they're doing this while they're studying or in class? Of course they can be even more focused because class is only 40 minutes. If they keep their eyes on their phone, they won't learn anything. In conclusion, by banning or limiting students from touching social medias or phones, they will manage their time better and be responsible of when to know to study and when to play. South American schools had actually applied this rule by banning them.
Your time is up. Please
These
sum up in
scores
one
are
line.
increased by 6.4% of standard deviation, which increased under 5 days to the school year of additional hour per week. Scores doesn't really mean anything, but the process of learning and understanding that you have to be responsible of what you do is actually important. Thank you.
Team B, do you have any questions?
So you said earlier that there was an app that would manage the time or the student time management. How do you make sure that the students will, in fact, follow what the app says, and they would just push it up like a little thing?
Okay, thank you. So basically, being responsible is an unwritten rule, of course. Rules have consequences, and if the students can't try to manage their own time, well, it will be their own problem, right? It will be like their own problem to have to face that they have bad scores. Of course, the teacher will have to remind them during class that it's not good to touch your phone while studying. But if they keep doing that, then it will be their own, own problem that their scores will be bad in the end.
Team 2B, please start your presentation now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Bella Pujie and I'm from grade 8. Today, the topic for our debate is social media use in the classroom. As an educational goal, social media enriches the learning experience by allowing students and teachers to connect and interact in new exciting ways. Websites such as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn provide a platform where users can dialogue, exchange ideas, and find answers to questions. These sites are designed to foster collaboration and discussion. The definition is, we define the topic as social media education refers to the practice of using social media platform as a way to enhance the education of students. Today, as first speakers of the team, I will be talking to you about why social media should be used in the classroom. First, social media sites can increase student collaboration. Social media sites provide an avenue for students to easily contact one another regarding school projects, group assignment, or for help on homework assignment. Second, social media sites can be useful for homework help.
When students have questions about class assignment, they can easily post a message asking if anyone can help. Also, they can write a specific question to the teacher on the wall that other students can see. This allows the whole class to have access to the feedback from the teachers. Third, social media helps keep parents, teachers, and students all on the same page. It is very useful for teachers to be able to post on social media sites about class activity, homework assignment, and even school events. Sites like Facebook also allow teachers to easily communicate through private message to parents and students. Thank you.
Social media is ubiquitous. In the third quarter, social media is online American use some form of social media. Many educators use social media both for professional and personal use. At the professional standpoint, it can enhance our network of contacts and can improve our skills. And for personal use, well, educators have lives, families, and friends, so they contact the people they care about. Social media is really important for us online, like we are now, and we need more educational tools to improve our skills, and by letting students to interact and browse multimedia websites such as Discord, WhatsApp, Twitter, and etc. And social media can also help us to do school project, assignment, and other else. We're not saying that social media is for everyone, but social media can be helpful for us. Thank you.
So, when the topic of having social media in school is brought up, it is usually talked about in a bad light. Like, and that is perfectly reasonable. But what if I told you that there are some good reasons that it is to keep social media in schools? One is better communication. It's, if the student is clueless about something, maybe their homeworks, their schoolwork, they can instantly message their friends or tutors for help without having the need to physically meet with the teacher physically. And then there's also the ease of sharing files, which in this case is school files, school-related files, through apps like Google Drive, Google Docs, and Dropbox, stuff like that. And there's also the improvement of literacy skills. So as we know, the percentage of students that like reading books has decreased over the years. And this will of course take a toll on the students' improvement in development in their literacy skills. But this is because a lot of students nowadays think that they are disinterested in reading books. But said students may think otherwise when it comes to reading through their phones, and that they enjoy it more than reading through their books. So we can encourage students by improving their literacy skills by doing something they like, which is by reading through their phones instead of using their books. Thank you.
Any do you have any questions?
You see, giving students freedom to contact anyone they want, like a teacher or a friend, will result to better understanding. But when the student go out of hand and open something not related to their studies, how would you prevent that?
So oftentimes in devices, there's usually a setting called parental control, where you can restrict your children from using certain apps and stuff like that. And yeah, you can use that to prevent any responsibility with the children.
Thank you so much, Team 2. Now I call Team 3 for the presentation.
Team 3A will start their presentation now.
Hello, good morning, principal. Hello, good morning, gentlemen, principal, teaching friends. Today I'll be talking about why I agree on banning social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and many others during school. But yes, I agree, social media is a great website or application, but of course, every website or application will have its pros and cons. And I'll mostly focus on the pros. Due to the fact of bullying, self-esteem and distraction, banning social media platforms or even phones from schools would do a lot for the students. It would also increase the performance during school. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. I will be talking about cyberbullying on social media websites. Well, some students have experienced cyberbullying mostly from social media websites. If social media is allowed in school, this can increase cyberbullying that could write hurtful messages targeting to other students that could affect their mental health and risk of anxiety, depression, and even feeling worthless for themselves. At social gathering and in personal relationship, they need to be able to effectively express themselves and connect with others. Social media is meant to entertain and connect with friends and family, not to be used in an educational tool. Social media is just like a drugs for teenagers. They can get addicted to it and put aside their obligations such as studying, doing their homework, and other more days related to school things. If you think that only hackers can be on social media, however, cyberbullies are also in social media sites such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and many more, basically in any social media sites. Thank you.
So I would like to point out some 3 points. The first one is screen time and its effects. As we all know, with the growing popularity of social media and online learning tools such as Zoom or Google Meet, students have had to look at their screens for longer periods of time every day, especially in this time during Corona. Now, this can affect their eyes, which is of course bad. They can use glasses early in their lives, which can be a discomfort later in their lives, where their eyes might have some problems. The second point I'd like to make is students using it for not-school purposes, such as playing games or going to social media, such as TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. This will then lead to my third point, which are distractions. Now, social media can, of course, be used for good things, but everything has its pros and cons. And in this case, social media can be used for distractions or even bad things such as fighting and cyberbullying. Thank you.
Team B, do you have any question?
Yes, thank you. You have a question. Do you believe that social media could never be developed into something more useful? If you do, why? Thank you.
I think it can be developed into something more useful, but I feel like at this time and at this moment, there is no reliable way to get students to fully focus on their schools. And again, lots of students use social media for other purposes.
Team 3E will start the presentation now.
Good morning, our respected judges, audience, and members. So, today we will talk about should social media be banned in schools? Social media media, there is a lot of uses. We could look at educations. Research told students teacher could be easily find high. Auditory to research materials using social media applications. Online learning and networking take classes from e-learnings. Social media as engagement tools to attract students provided by their academic institutions. For creative demonstrations, reaching out to people, more opportunity for you to get help from experts on your topic. So, helps gain broader knowledge, increase their knowledge through gather and information they go through various online platforms to gather information to create. So, you gotta say about cyberbullying. Social media is just a platform where humans just speak out their thoughts. If you say social media, it's having depression and something else, we should prevent and help them using social media tools. We should share more thoughts of the good side.
Alright, hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Louis, and I'm going to be presenting my argument. Students arrive at school mostly are fluent in web and social networking technologies. Teacher can use this as leverage to enrich the learning experience with social media. Instructor can foster collaboration and discussion, create meaningful dialogues, exchange ideas, and boost students' interaction. Social media is also an effective way to increase student engagement and build better communication skills. Students who rarely raise their hand in class may feel more comfortable expressing themselves on Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram. Social networking platforms enable teachers to establish back channels that foster discussion and express ideas that students are too shy or too intimidated to voice out loud. Facebook and Twitter can enhance communication among students, and teachers. Educators can answer students' questions via Facebook page or Twitter feed. Post homework assignments and lesson plans, send messages and updates, schedule or announce upcoming events, and share interesting sites and content. And in the future, when students preparing to enter the workforce, they can use social networking sites to find employment. In this case, you can use like LinkedIn. There are a lot of platforms to find jobs. We can also use Twitter to see broadcasts on job openings and internship. We can follow business or professional organizations on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated. Those points I mentioned above are just some advantages of using social media. There are many more of the advantages that affect our everyday lives. As a part of the society and the world, students can't be left behind and must stay updated of things that are happening in the world. Engaging to social media is also proven to be beneficial for our study. Therefore, I am strongly against banning social media at school. Thank you.
Alright, now, to sum up everything that we have been stated, as we can see, there are great classifications of pros and cons. But now let's go back to the first question that started everything. Do we really need social media? Well, before we get to the final answer for that, based on digitalvideo.com and alteration.com, there are about 6 or even more types of social media. But the top 3 ones that we could easily recognize is first, social networks such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and others. And then we have social news like Compass.com, CNN, and Reddit. And last but not least, we have media sharing like YouTube. However, nowadays, all of these applications have been developed in a very multifunctional way. For example, on Instagram, they have this new feature where they could check on vaccination updates, like where you can say vaccinations or even the number of cases.
Now, even for this one application, it would be developed this way. You wouldn't be surprised if they are developing other applications to help students with their assignments. One good example for that is Brainly. This Brainly was developed by Mikhail Warkowski-Thomas. This application basically helps students to reach out to people that are expert in certain subjects. And then we have Photomath, developed by Damir Sabol. Now, this application is really easy to use. You just have to take pictures and then they will solve your mathematical equation. However, sometimes these applications could give answers that are not as precise as how it is to be, so they still need the basic understandings from the students. Therefore, it's pretty much balanced. And then the last application is called Sejuta Cita, developed by Wisnu Suryawardana. This application is quite different than the other two. This one posts updates and links of scholarships and competitions with prizes of millions of money for students to be active in their education life. Yes, this media helps students to get better access to answers and opportunities. And this could be the new challenge for teenagers, students living in this technology era. By way of conclusion, social media should not be seen as something negative. It will only bring the worst of all. Why would they even invent it in the first place? So no, social media should not be banned at school. Besides, it can also help with our students' character building. We should be responsible with what we have right now. Thank you, and once again, good morning.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have two questions. The first one is, Louis mentioned at the point that students can express themselves more on social media than they can in classes, for example. But being more confident in social media will not translate to helping classes. It won't help their grades, and nor will it increase their confidence in class. They can be more confident in social media because there are other reasons, such as they're more familiar with their surroundings, such as maybe they're in some sort of community of a game or some sort of sports activity. So how would being more confident in social media be related to something in class?
I think confidence in social media has helped people to connect you, so you can have more opportunity to talk with other people and share your thoughts, right? Then you can talk about that in any subjects and talk about what's happening in the world. So social media have the fast information what's happening in this world. If you don't have that information, how will you connect to the school? It's happening around the world will also help the studies of the research.
For my second question, as mentioned previously, social media can be used as a learning tool with websites such as Brainly and apps such as Photomath. But can't these applications and websites be used for cheating, especially in this day and age, also as a learning tool? If we have online classes and online exams, how are the teachers sure that the students don't use these applications and websites to help them in exams?
Yes, okay. As I said earlier, us living in this technology era is like a new challenge for us to be responsible with what we have right now. Like we have applications, social media, and everything is because of like the revolution, right? Something like that. And if we don't use these
to help us to be better. Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, we have this, right? We have social media, and if we skip like this part, how are we able to step forward? Like, we can use social media to help us with assignments and everything, but at the same time, it could help us to build our own character, to be responsible, as I said earlier. Yes. Do you have any?
Though that is true, some teenagers might not follow that. And we don't have any indication that they will ever follow that.
True. But this time, we should learn how to grow up, to be mature, to understand what we do, will take responsibilities in the further time. So if they decide to cheat all the time and everything, then they might not be anywhere in the future. That's why. Be responsible. The point is, the key word is responsible of what we're doing. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Tree. You may go back to your seat. It was indeed an insightful discussion. Allowing social media in school has its own role and events. It is an important tool for education of ordinary person. One can express feeling without going to conventional moments of mass communication like TV, radio, and etc. But at the same time, it should not take away our rights through the spread of misinformation. A coordinated preparation is necessary so that it's put to good use, not the bad. Now, I request our respected principal, Mr. Silas, to apply at least a few words of encouragement.
Secretary General Jesslyn and Kewara for permitting me to speak to the students, speak to the House today. Whenever I attend these type of events, I learn so much about my students. I learn that how good they are speaking, how they are able to frame their points, and then how they are able to present them. Well done, boys and girls, well done. To all the speakers, those who came in favor, and of course to all the speakers, those who came against today's motion. And I think that with your ideas, your point of views about the topic of social media, should it be allowed in schools or should it not be allowed in schools? Now, again, as you all must have seen, as the audience, I could get that, yes, they both have their good points and the bad point probably, or the drawbacks as you call them. But each speaker was not firmly able to say that, yes, it should be banned or not. Right? You have your own points, yes, but when the other team was proposing their points, then obviously, they were also important, they were also equally important. So good to see that lively discussion in front of all of us. And then, thank you judges. We have 3 judges today, Mr. Doug, Ms. Lofty and Ms. Chitra. They were judging you guys while you were performing, while you were speaking in the debate on the basis of your speech clarity, tone and pronunciation, on the basis of your arguments, content of arguments, on the basis of your language, and of course your presentation style and body language. Now, boys and girls, when I wanted to know that why these debates are being held, I came with so many answers on the internet. In fact, whenever you have a class in progress, maybe third period you were studying with the teacher, maybe English or maths or physics or commerce maybe. In fact, that was also like a debate. Because those times are over when one person directs the class, like as a teacher. No, not really. Now it's an open class. We want children to ask questions. We want children to be inquirers. They should, if I'm saying a particular point of view or I'm presenting something to them, they should come up with the inquisitive questions. That why this is there and why that is not there. And something similar to that. But again, you see, in of events like annual debate we have just now, it helps all the students, of course those who presented here, to help them make decisions. There was a question and then you were deciding whether you are going to be in favor or not in favor of that. It arouses your critical thinking skills. It helps you to organize and study your thoughts, because information is everywhere, right? Boys and girls, you know, this small phone has got more information than all that world teachers combined together. Just one phone. Right? So we know that. We understand that, yes, information is everywhere. The idea is to how to structure it, how to organize it. Of course, it helps you to develop your research skills. I saw the nice presentations coming in front of me with the different point of views. So I'm sure that a lot of research work has gone behind that. And then we have worked very hard to bring up those points in the form of a presentation. Of course, confidence, gaining confidence in speaking in front of the public. You see, the schools provide you platform to achieve that. You will see that once you leave the school after grade 12, boys and girls, maybe in a year's or so time, couple of years time, in the college and university, you're on your own. As I remember, one of the speakers put forward that, according to whatever you are doing, right? When the question was raised that there are apps which tells you, okay, time is over, you have already used for 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever time you or your parents might have chosen. Again, you have to be responsible, right? You have to own your actions, right? And at the time, your teachers, your school as a learning body helps you to develop those skills, which are lifelong skills. And as the Secretary General was putting forward earlier, that yes, these events are being held everywhere. In the beginning, Mr. Dirk, when he introduced, he also said that most of the universities, whether national or international, they have their own debating clubs. They keep organizing these debating events. Even I was reading that the government of Indonesia also actually has got its own debating competition called Pancasila Debate Competition 2021. And the topic which I was reading about, they debated on was development and update of national laws during COVID-19 pandemic. They actually continue the debate with a live voting also. Live voting means, just to see that among the people, those who are listening to the debate, how many are in favor, how many are not in favor. And then 83% of the people were saying that yes, there should be a national law because there is a pandemic. And only 17% of our the view that, yeah, there's no need. People are clever enough to handle any crisis which comes. And again, I'm sure you all know and understand that in all the states elections, even US presidential candidates, they come together, they debate on different issues which are posed to them by the public, and then the public actually sees their point of view and ultimately decides to choose them. Boys and girls, I must add here that the times have changed, of course, you see. Now, as I was saying that if one person wants to direct something, that times are over anymore. There is no, you can't, if you read the history, you will see there were kings who were ruling the different provinces and the states. Those times have changed, Now, it has to be resolved by debating. You can't just give an order and expect everyone to follow that. You have to debate that. Any resolution, any law in the present day, or recent past also, if I remember, which is being put forward is only possible through debates. Right? So those times are over. And then again, if you want to ask my personal point of view about this topic of disallowing the Facebook and other social media platforms from the schools. Again, there is no fixed answer, right? But again, I know that access of anything, whether it's a food, whether it's a social media, whether it's a technology usage or whatever you want to consider, is always not good. So you have to restrict yourself. So if the platforms are being used in a restricted way, with a understanding and responsible way, you will see that they all are actually good things. They all can be used for good purposes and good solutions. Finally, I just would like to speak these 3 points which I was writing while I was just listening to you guys. Many of you talked about the cyberbullying, about bullying and so on. Boys and girls, we know for real this is there, yes, because we all use social media. As one of the slides put forward, 95% of the people are using social media. Because you are still studying in school, you have access to your teachers, your parents, and you can talk to them, right? So please speak out in case you feel that you are being victimized because of this bullying or cyberbullying. As a school, we have a very strict policies of no to cyberbullying or no to bullying at all, right? But in case we miss out, in case you feel that yes, you need to speak any one of us, your teacher, your supervisor, myself, you can come to my office anytime if you like to. Please speak out. That is required, you see. That's a real situation, so you have to speak out. You can't keep it to yourself. And as one of the speakers put forward, I remember that footprints. Footprints is like whatever you are doing on social media today, whatever you have done last year, last month, last week, or you will be doing in future is going to stay there forever, right? Forever. As a fact. Me, being a computer science teacher, I know for sure that whatever we have done on internet in the last few years, or we will be doing on social media, on any other thing, as far as the internet is involved or networking is involved, it is going to be there forever, right? So make your decision wisely. Even if you write something and you delete it, is still going to be there. It are your footprints, as they say, they are forever. And then I was very happy to see one of the participants raising the issue of toxic content, accuracy of data. Boys and girls, I don't want to scare you, but more than half of the information available on the social media is not correct. Right? So we have to be wise enough to actually see that whatever information is presented to me, keep that factor in your mind that maybe that information is not 100% correct, right? So with this, once again, I thank you to your teachers, the organizers, for inviting me to this event. And I'm very happy to see my students, boys and girls, doing so well, speaking so well, with confidence, with proper body language. But again, as they say that yes, learning is forever, right? Boys and girls, keep learning, keep becoming better in the days to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much, everyone, for participating in the event. Now, may I request Mr. Doug to come forward and announce the winner's name.
Okay, so now I would like to call out the winner for Best Speaker. The winner for Best Speaker has a total score of 270 points. And the award goes to Kayla Batawan for And now for the debate team with the best presentation, with a total score of 246, goes to Team 3, also Kayla, Lewis, and call Mr. Aurora and Ms. Devi to the front.
Forward,
to-
guys. Forward, 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 forward. 3 step. 3 step, forward. 3 step.
Well done, very good. I was really very impressed the way you were very different. Okay, best speaker. Okay, you sure? Very good. Well done. Give us a very good. Good to see you speaking. Very good. Okay, so this is the best presenter and speaker, right? Very good.
Thank you so much, everyone. Can I call all the participants to come forward and have a picture together? And sir, can we have a picture together? All the participants.
Go, guys.
Picture together. Suddenly I forgot my name. I'm like, wait, am I Kayla? Are you sure? Yeah, I forgot my name.
Stay with.